I'm talking to Katie, and the theme this week is teaching. So not surprisingly, we've asked to talk to someone who's involved in schools. Katie, welcome.
Thank you.
I wonder perhaps you could just tell people what you do and how that works out.
Yeah, of course. So I'm a deputy head teacher at a school in Hampshire. It's a large junior school. We've got over 400 children on roll. Prior to that, I was a teacher for about 12 years, again in junior school, so across lots of year groups. But now as a deputy, I oversee the teaching and learning of the whole school. I'm in charge of looking at the curriculum and assessments, and also have a large role in the safeguarding of the school.
Excellent. I wonder, what does it feel like to be in teaching at the moment? We hear of the pressures, but for somebody who's right in the middle of it.
It can be really challenging. There's an awful lot to think about. There are lots of expectations on us as teachers and leaders in education, and there doesn't always feel like there's enough time in the school day to fit everything in and manage those expectations on us. It's also a really exciting time, so it's brilliant working with today's children and having lots to learn with them and alongside them and engage them in their education. But it can feel very overwhelming at times. A huge part of my job at the moment is supporting teachers with their well-being because of the expectations on them in terms of progress and attainment for children, but also teachers play lots of roles. So we're not just teachers, we also play the role as parents, social workers, carers, therapists. We wear a lot of hats. So supporting teachers in their own well-being has been hugely important too.
It always strikes me that being a teacher now, as well as the teaching, is like being a circus ringmaster, a juggler and a social worker all at the same time. So, I guess there must be days that are quite draining and then other days that are really full of excitement.
Yeah, I saw a funny meme recently about teaching which described it as being driving a coach full of children backwards down a mountain whilst the bus is on fire, and it does sometimes feel a bit like that. So yes, it can certainly feel like that. Particularly in my role as a deputy, a big part of that is prioritising, so thinking about what absolutely must be done in that moment. So that's where safeguarding, of course, always trumps everything. But whilst those things that can crop up day to day are happening, you still have to be managing that high quality teaching and learning that's taking place. So yeah, it is a huge juggling act.
And as a Christian, how does your faith help you to navigate all those complicated things?
I think it's hugely important. I don't know how I'd do the job actually without my faith. There are some times in the day where it can be quite scary. So it could be that it's a challenging conversation with a member of staff or a parent or children. It could be that there's challenging behaviour that I need to support with. Could be a safeguarding concern that's worrying. And when those things crop up, I pray straight away as I'm working through it to ask for God's guidance with that and support. And the school I'm at, my head teacher is also a Christian, and that's absolutely brilliant. I really value working alongside her, and we have this common ground that's really supports the school values and the decisions that we make. So whilst we're not in a church school, I really like that I'm working with someone who shares my values. And we've had a discussion that, you know, when we get an Ofsted phone call, the first thing we'll do together is pray. Some mornings one of us will say, it just feels like it's going to be one of those days, and we'll pray about it. And it's just amazing knowing that within this potential chaos and within this really tricky job, we know we've got God in that school with us, which has been just brilliant to be working with her. And we've got, you know, code words between us so that when we're finding something really hard, we just say to each other, look up, and it's just a reminder to one another that we just need to pray about it, and God's there.
So good to hear.
Yeah.
Then, as a worshipping community, what are the sort of things that we could pray for you, for your school, for your colleagues, who I know are not just teachers, but there are all sorts of other roles there as well?
Well, really for the education system in general, there are huge expectations on primary schools, and I'm sure there are for secondary schools too. So, yeah, for the education system, that the right decisions are made with us in mind, that are achievable and that we're supported. I think as well for schools going through Ofsted, it's a scary time. Of course, it's needed so that we know that every child is getting a good education, but it's hugely stressful on teachers. So schools that are in that Ofsted window would always welcome prayer over them and their teachers. For me and my school, we're on a terrific journey, so we're working really hard to improve what's already good in the school and also develop new ideas. So just prayer for guidance for me and my head teacher, that we make good decisions for our school and that we keep the children at the heart of it. I think that's a really huge part, remembering it's all about the children. Also, there's huge budget concerns around schools, so practically that's things that I think the community can help with schools. We're trying to support families in these tricky financial times, but also that impacts on school budgets, so just prayer over the government supporting us there as well would be amazing.
Katie, so grateful for being able to hear from you about your faith and the school as well. Bless you. Thanks.
Thank you.